Hi friends, welcome back to my channel Innovative. In this tutorial, you will learn the Python programming, install and run the Python on your computer. Once you do that, you will also write your first Python program. And please subscribe my channel for more updates and like my videos and comment below. And in this tutorial, you will learn the installation of Python and how it will useful for our day-to-day life and the keywords and identifiers of Python. And we have several type of keywords and we have identifiers with some rules and statements, indentation and comments. And Python variables, we have several type of variables, constants, and we also learn the data types and the type of conversions and input and outputs and imports in Python and operators. We have several type of operators we will discuss here and namespaces and scopes. So let's first see the IDEs. So we use IDEs for to run the Python. So we have several type of IDEs to run the Python and with the several features. Each one have the several features their own. And we use the Tony IDE is the easiest way to run the Python. So Tony IDE is the latest version of the Python bundle unit. So you don't have to install the Python separately. If you don't want to use the Tony IDE, so you can use any other platform for coding. At first, what is Python? So nowadays the demand more for the Python because Python is a cross-platform programming language, and which means it can run on the multiple platforms like Windows, MacOS, Linux, and it can use, and it is a free and open source, so you can run easily. So nowadays today the Linux and Mac have the Python pre-installed in it, so the version might be out of date, so it also have the good idea to install the most current versions. So the basic program for the Python for the beginners is Hello World program. So I already said you that everyone knows the print function will act has to show the output. So we use print for output. What we written in the parentheses, we get the output that. So we taken the print function for output, and in the parentheses we written hello world. So we get the output as hello world. Let's check it. So we have several type of programming languages like C, C++, and C#, Java, and Kotlin, Python. But why we get more demand in Python? Let's see the each programming features and why the Python has the more demand. So let's check it. So language type. So every programming has their own language types. C has a procedure oriented language, and C++ has object oriented language. Java has object oriented language, but Python has both procedural and object oriented language. And C has the function driven building block, and C++ is object driven, and Java has both object and class driven, and Python has a function, object and class driven. So the extension of this every program, we have to store the program by using this extensions. In C program we use .c, in C++ we use .cpp, in Java we use .java, in Python we use .py. C has a dependent platform, and C++ is independent platform, and Java is also independent, and Python is also independent platform. And comment types, comment styles, you can see the comment styles slash with star we use in C programming, and C++ we use single line single line comment, we use double slash, and for multi-line purpose we use the slash star. And in Java, Java is also like the C++ comment style. In Python we use hash for the single line, and triple columns for the multi-line. And translation type is we use a C++, we use compiler, and Java for the compile and interpreter, and Python is only interpreter. We will not use any compilers for this. And database connectivity is not supported for the C programming, and not supported for the C++, but it's supported for the Java and Python. And represent to the blocks of statements, we use flower brackets like that, and in Python we use indentations. I will explain what is indentation also. And declaring variables is required for C++ and Java, but Python does not require any declaration variables. And applications for the C programming is the compilers, interpreters, and embedded programming, etc. In C++, applications are the simple desktop applications and embedded systems, etc. Java applications are desktop GUI, mobile, web, gaming, etc. In Python, applications are desktop, web, gaming, network programming, etc. And one more thing, and Python use GUI also. And IDEs for the C programming is Turbo C, Code Blocks, and C++ IDEs are Turbo C++, Code Blocks, and Java IDEs for Eclipse, NetBeans, etc. And Python IDEs, we have several type of IDEs like PyCharm, PyDev, and IDLE, and Jupyter Notebooks, Spider, and Tony, and Eric, etc. And next topic is keywords and identifiers in Python. We have 33 keywords in Python 3.7, but now the version is 3.9. So the keywords cannot be used as an in variable names and function names or any other identifiers. So all the keywords are in lowercase except true, false, and none. So these all are the keywords, 33 keywords in Python. So let's see this each and everything very clearly. First one is true, false. Keywords are used in Boolean operators. So it is also like when it is true, it shows like 1, and when it is false, it shows like 0. And next one is none. None is a special constant in Python. It represents the absence of values or null values. So next one is end or not. They are like logics. End keyword will shows the result into true when both the operands are true. Otherwise, it's false. Or will results into true when any of the operand is true. Then it shows the true. Otherwise, it false. Not operator is used to convert the value. Like when it is true, it shows like false. Like not operator is like a converter. And next one is has. As is used to create an alias while importing a modules. We have several type of modules like math, conic, cosine, like that. So alias is nothing but it giving a different name for the modules while importing it. And next one is assert. Assert is used for the debugging purpose in Python. And async and await keywords are used in library ASYNCCIO in Python. They are used for writing the concurrent code in Python. And break, continue keywords are used inside the loops for loop, while loop, or do while loops, like that. Break keywords will ends the smallest loop, and continue will ends the current iteration of the loop. And next one is the class, and class is used to define a new user defined class in the Python, and the class keyword is used to represent the real time situations and real world situations, and def is used to define the user defined functions, and del is used to delete an object in the Python, and if else elif. These keywords are used when if statement is used when the expression is compiled. When the expression is true, it terminates the task, and it is false, we use the else keyword. Elif is used under when the two if statements are run at a time. Except, raise, try keywords are used with the exception in Python. Exception means while performing the task in programming, we can raise an exception to find the errors. So it suggests something went wrong while executing our program. And next one is finally keyword is used with try except block to enclose up the resources of the file streams, and for keyword is used for the looping. For loop is used for we use the keyword when we know the number of times we want to loop. So when we use the for keyword, for we want to know that the loop, how much time the loop have to run. So from import keywords are used to import the specific attributes or functions into the current namespaces. And the global keyword is used to declare that a variable inside the function is global. And in keyword is used to test if the sequence is list, tuple or strings, etc. And next one is is keyword is used for the testing object identity in Python. So next one is lambda. Lambda keyword is used to create an anonymous functions. It is an inline function that does not contain any return statements. And next one is non-local keyword is much similar to the global keywords, but non-local keyword is used to declare that a variable inside a nested function. And next one is pass. Pass keyword is used as a null statement in Python. Nothing happens when it is executed. Next, return statement is used inside your function to exit it and returns a value. And while keyword is used for the looping in Python, like a while loop and do while loop like that. And when we use the while keyword when we does not know the number of times we want to loop. And next one is with. And with statement is used to wrap the execution of a code within a method is defined by the content manager, and it is a class that implements the entry and exit the methods. And finally yield is used inside the function like return statements. And this is all about the keywords. And next one is identifiers. At first, what is identifiers? Identifiers is a name is given to entitles like a class, function, variables, etc. And it helps to different like it shows names, but it has some rules. Let's see the rules of identifiers. Identifier can be combination of letters in lowercase, uppercase, or digits. An identifier cannot start with a digit. Let's see here, one variable is invalid because identifiers cannot start with a digit. But when we return the variable one is a valid name because it is a second condition, a variable does not start with a digit. So third one is keyword cannot be used as an identifiers. We have 33 keywords, so any of the keywords does not used as an identifiers, and we does not use any special symbols like at the rate, hashtags like etc, percentages, dollar symbols. Any of this we don't use in identifiers. And last one is identifiers can be of any length, and this is all about identifiers. Statements. Statements is the instructions that a Python interpreter can execute are called statements. So in these statements we use multi-line statements also, and multi-line statements is the end of the statement is marked by a new character, but multi-line character we use parentheses or brackets or braces like that. And indentation. So in Python programming, the most of the programming languages like C, C++, and Java, we use braces, flower braces or brackets like that to define a code. But in Python, we use indentations. So by using this indentation, it gives the clear vision of the program, and it can easily understand the users. And let's see one example. For I in range, parenthesis 1 comma 11, indentation. By using this indentation, we get 4 white spaces after print function. Print I. Next, if I equal to 5, indentation, break. Because we use indentation, after 4 white spaces we get break. And next one is comments. Comments are very important while writing a program. So they describe what is going inside a program, so the person can easily understand while looking this code. So when we wrote the when we forgot this key details of the program, so when we written this comments, so it can easily understand it can easily understand after a month also. So comments, we have the single comments and multi-line comments. In single line comments we use hashtag, and multi-line comments we use triple quotes. So in string statements also we use triple quotes. So that's why we are using dot string. So dot string is a short for documentation string. So these Python dot strings are the string literals that appears high right and after the definition of a function, methods, class, or your modules. And these triple quotes are used while writing these dot strings. Dot strings appears right after the definition, function, class, or array modules. And this separates dot strings from multi-line comments using these triple quotes. In dot strings, we are associating with the object like a dot attribute. And next one is variables. A variable is a name location. It is used for the storing of data in the memory. So it is helpful to think of a variables as a container and that holds the data. It can be changed later in the program. Let's see number equal to 10. In this we create a variable name is number and we are assigning the value is 10. And after that we are changing the variable value. So we already assigned the 10 value number and we are replacing the 10 with 1.1. So like that we are assigning value by using this assigning operator equal to. And next one is constants. Constants is a type of variables and value cannot be changed. It is helpful to think of the constant as a container that holds the information which cannot be changed later. And the assigning value of these constants in Python is it creates like a constant. The extension is .py. In constants, we return the constants with the capital letters only. If you have the two words, we separate these two words with the underscore. And literals. Literals is a raw data is given in variables or constants, and we have the several type of literals like numerical literals, string literals, and special literals like that. And we discuss the each literals. First is numerical literals. Numerical literals are immutable. Immutable means unchanged. We have mutables and immutables. Numerical literals are immutable, so it unchangeable. Numerical literals as belongs to three different numerical literals like integer, float, and complex. We already know integer values, float values. Integer value is decimal format, and float is 3.4, 2.2 like that. And complex means real and imaginary values like let's say one example. 3 plus 4j. 3 is a real and 4j is an imaginary. Like that we represent the complex literals. Complex numerical literals. And string literals. And string literals is a sequence of characters surrounded by codes. We written any of the expressions or any characters in string literals. We use the single, double, or triple quotes. And Boolean literals. Boolean literals is nothing but it have any of the two values like a true or false. If it is true, it represents like a true in the output, and if it is the expression is false, then it shows the output has a false. So this is called the Boolean literals. And special literals. Special literals in Python contains one special literal, that is none. When we use this specific, that the fields has not been created. Next, literal collections. There are 4 different literal collections like list literals, tuple literals, dictionary literals, and set literals. I will explain all these list, tuple, dictionary, sets all in data types. Data types in Python. So every value in the Python has a data type, and since everything is an object in Python programming, so we have several type of data types, and let's see the each data types. Python numbers. We have the integers, float point numbers, and complex numbers fall under this Python numbers category. So are defined in float and complex classes in Python. Let's see one example. A equal to 5. So we are assigning a value 5 in a variable is A. Then print. In print statement, what you are written in this parenthesis, we get the output that. So print A. We already assigning a value of A is 5. So print A is 5. We get the output A is 5 and is of type. A is which type? It is a integer type. So we get the output is 5 and integer. And next one is A equal to 2.0. So 2.0 is in a format of float. So print A is 2.0 and it is a float type. and a equal to 1 plus 2j. So 1 plus 2j is a complex number. So print a equal to 1 plus 2j, and we are asking a question to the interpreter, is it is a complex number or not. So it's a complex number, so it shows the output in screen as true. It is a complex number. So let's see the output. Next, Python list. List is an ordered sequence of items, and it is one of the most used data type in Python, and it is very flexible. And all the items in a list and does not need to be of the same type. So lists are mutable. So mutable means it can changeable. Once it is declared the value, and after it can be changed. Let's see one example. A equal to in bracket 5 comma 10 comma 15 comma 20 25 30 35 40, like that we are assigning a values in a. And in Python the index starts from 0 onwards. So the index 0 means 5, index 1 means 10, index 2 is 15, 3 is 20, 4 is 25, like that, so on. And we already said you that comment hash symbol represents the single line comment, and triple quotes represent the multi-line comments. You can see here the hash a of 2 equal to 15 means it is a single line comment. And next print is a of 2. In 2 value we got the 15. We already assigned the value is 15. So we get the output is a of 2 equal to 15. And next one, print a of 0 is to 3. From 0 to 3, what the values is? 0 is 5, 1 is 10, and 3 is 15. So we get the output is a of 0 is to 3 equal to 5 comma 10 comma 15. And next one is print a of 5 is to with empty space. Empty space represents 5 after up to the end. The value of 5 is 0 is 1, 1 is 10, 2 is 15, 3 is 20, 4 is 25, and 5 is 30. So 5 in 5 index we have the value is 30 and 35, and after that 35, and at the end we get the 40. So the output is a of 5 is to empty space equal to 30 comma 35 comma 40. And this tuple. Python tuple is an ordered sequence of items. It is same as list, but the only difference is that tuples are immutable. It cannot be changed once it is declared or once it is created. Let's see one example. And t equal to 5 comma program comma 1 plus 3j in parentheses. So in comment line we can see the hash t of 1 equal to program. So index starts from 0 onwards in Python. So 0 is 5, 1 is program, and 2 is 1 plus 3j. So we are asking is a print t of 1. So we get the output is program. Then t of 0 is to 3 means 0 is 1, 1 is program, and 2 is 1 plus 3j. So 5 comma program 1 plus 3j. If let's see one t of 0 equal to 10, it gets the error. In comment line we can see it generates error and tuples are immutable. I already said you that immutable are unchangeable. Once we already declared the value, the index 0 is 5, so it cannot be changed. So we already declared the value is 5, we get the output is 5 only. So we are giving t of 0 equal to 10. So then we get the output has error. Now strings is a sequence of Unicode characters, and we can use the single quotes or double quotes to represent the strings. In multi-line, strings can be denoted using these triple quotes. So let's see the example. S equal to, this is a string. We are written, we are wrote some sentences like this is a string in quotes. So print S. We get the output as this is a string, and after that S equal to a multi-line string. So we get the output is this is a string, a multi-line string. And after that set. Set is an unordered collection of unique items, and set is defined by the values and separated by a comma inside the braces. Let's see the example. A equal to in braces 5 comma 2 comma 3 comma 1 comma 4. So print A equal to. So in set values, what we are giving in the braces, we get the output that. So any sequence of order, like we are giving 5 comma 2 comma 3 comma 1 comma 4, but we get the output is 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. And it is which type? It is a set. And in set data type, it eliminates a duplicate one, like we written A equal to 5 comma 5 2 comma 2. It get the output only 2 comma 5. It neglects the duplicates. And next, Python dictionaries. Dictionaries is an unordered collection of key value pairs, and it is generally used for when we have a huge amount of data. So then dictionaries are optimized for retrieving the data, and we must know the key to retrieving the values. And we use the braces for defining the dictionaries, and key is to values. Let's see the example. D equal to in braces 1 is to value. Here key is 1 and the value is value, comma key is to 2. Here the key is key and value is 2. So the type D, we get the output print type D. We get the output is dictionary. It is a dictionary data type. Next, print D of 1 equal to, in D of 1 keyword we get we have a value is value. So we get the output is D of 1 equal to value. So print D of key equal, next one is print D of key. In key we have a value is 2. So we get the output is 2. And next one is print D of 2. It shows an error because it does not have any key value, or it is not a value 2. So it shows an error. Next one is data conversions. Type conversions. We have two type of conversions in Python. First, conversions means to convert one data type to another data type is called type conversions, and we have implicit type conversions and explicit type conversions. Implicit type conversions in Python is automatically converts one data type to another data type. So this process does not need any user support or user involvement. So let's see the example. And number int equal to 123, number float equal to 1.23. So number new equal to number int plus number float, print. So after the print statements. So in this program we add two variables, number int and number float, and storing the values in number new. So we will look at the data types of all the three objects respectively. In the output we can see the data type of number integer, and number integer is integer, and while the data type of number flow is a float. And also we can see the number new has the float data type because the Python always converts the smaller data type to larger data types to avoid the loss of data. And explicit type conversions. Explicit type conversions, user converts the data types of an object to required data type. So we can use the preferred functions like int, float, structure, etc. to perform the explicit type conversions. And input and outputs and imports functions. First we will discuss
Input and outputs and
Python
imports
provides
in Python.
numerous. First we will discuss the inputs and outputs. Python have the several number of built-in functions. So inputs and output, print, all these functions are comes under these built-in functions, so that are readily available to us at the Python prompt. So some of the functions like input and print are widely used for the standard input and outputs operation respectively. Let us see the output session first. The output Python output, we are using the print function. So the print function to the output data to the standard output devices, it shows on screen, and what we written in the parenthesis of the print, we get the output that. And next one is input. Python inputs has our program were static, so the values of the variables are defined or hard coded into the source code. So to allow the flexibility, we might want to take the input from the users. So in the Python we have the input function to allow this. So the syntax of this input is input. What we written in the parenthesis is the input is the inputs, and what the prompt with the string we wish to display on the screen, it is optional. And import. When our program grows bigger, so it's a good idea to break into a different modules. We have different type of module functions. So module functions are mutable. So a module is a file containing the Python definitions and statements, and Python modules have the file names, and the extension is .py. So the definition inside a module can be imported to the another module or interact to in Python. So we can use the import keyword to do this. We can change the modules whenever we want. And next one is Python operators. We have several type of operators in Python, like arithmetic operators and logical operators, boolean operators, like that. At first, what is operators? Operators are the special symbols in the Python that carry out arithmetic or logical computations, and the values that the operators or operates on is called the operand. So let's see, let's add something like a 2 plus 3 equal to 5. Here plus is the operator that performs the addition. So 2 and 3 are the operands, and we get the output 5 is an operation. So let's see the arithmetic operators. So arithmetic operators are used to perform the mathematical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplications, etc. And the below you can see the operators plus, minus, into, or division, modular, and floor divisions, and exponent left operand. So you can see like this. and the operator meanings and their examples you can see here. And next one is comparison operators. These comparison operators are used to compare the values. If it is true and it shows like a true, and if it is false then it shows it is false. So let's see some of the operators like greater than, less than, equal to, or is not equal to, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, like that. And logical operators are the and, or not operators. If the two operands are true, then it shows true. Or operator, true if either of the operand is true, or not is like inverter. And bitwise operators acts on operands, and if they were strings of binary digits, and they operate bit by bit, hence the name. And we have several type of operators. Bitwise operators are and bitwise or, bitwise not, bitwise XOR, bitwise right shift, bitwise left shift, like that. And assignment operators are used in Python to assign the values to the variables. And equal to, plus equal to, minus equal to, and their equivalent to. So you can see all these operands are related to assignment operators. So special operators, the Python language offers some special type of operators like the identity operators, or the membership operators, and they are we can discuss now. So identity operators are is and is not, are the identity operators in Python. So they can use to check if the two values are located on the same part of the memory. So the two variables are the equal, does not imply that they are identical. So let's see these operators is and is not. And next one is membership operators. Membership operators is in and not in are the membership operators in Python. So they can use the test whether a value or a variable is found in sequence of string, list, tuple, set, and dictionaries. Next one is namespace. Namespace is what is namespace in Python means if you have ever read the Zen of the Python, so the last line states that the namespace are on like a great idea. Let's do more of this. So what are these mysterious namespaces in Python? So let us first look at what name is. Name is simply a name is given to objects. Everything is Python is object, we already know that, and name is a way to access the underlying objects. So like a equal to 2, we are assigning a 2 value in a variable a, like that. So we can store the data, we can store that in a RAM. And next one is that are called name, and the namespace in Python is now that we can understand what the names are, so we can move on to the concept of namespaces. To simply put it, the namespace is a collection of names. So in Python we can imagine a namespace has a mapping of every name, so you have defined to correspond the objects. So different namespaces can coexist at a given time, but they are completely isolated. So they can contains all the built-in names is created, and when we start the Python interrupter, and it exists as long it interrupter runs. So we use the reason to built-in functions like id, print, or inputs, etc. are always available to us and from any part of the program. So each module creates its own global namespaces. So in these namespaces we have three. That one is global namespace and local namespace and built-in functions. So the built-in functions is the outermost layer to the namespaces, and modula is the module global namespace, that is second one, and after that function is local namespace. You can see here very clearly. Next, Python variable scope. So we have the various unique namespace defined, so you may not be able to access all of them from every part of the program. So the concept of the scopes come into the play. A scope is the portion of a program from where the namespace can be accessed directly without any prefix. So at the given moment, there are at least three nested scopes, the scope of the current function, which has local names, and the scope of the modules and which has global names, and outermost scope which has built-in names. When a reference is made inside a function, the name is searched in the local namespace. So then the global namespace, and finally in the built-in names there is a function inside the another function. So a new scope is nested inside a local scope. So this all are the concept of Python for the beginners, and next video I will explain about the functions. So keep watching my channel for more updates.